Alright, so in this video we're going to keep going and talk about Android and Android Studio. But most importantly, we're going to talk about XML. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. And we'll talk a little bit about it because, as you may have noticed, there's a lot of XML files in our projects, in our Android projects when we create them. All of the Android layouts, all of the Android views that we create in our apps are created using XML. Everything in the background, it's created using XML. So the way things work in Android, when we develop applications, we write our Java code that communicates with XML to create the views. A good example here, let's go to layouts because that's where our views are created. And as you can see, this is indeed an XML file. And this XML file contains all of the little components such as text view, so which essentially just displays text or strings into our screen. Now we are on the text mode here. Let's go to the design here. Let's make this bigger by making that smaller. And as you can see, we talked a little bit about laying things out into our view here. Now, the good thing is Android Studio gives us flexibility to either go straight into XML, which is this here, as you can see. We can go ahead and start coding here, putting properties, Android, and so forth, and we're gonna go more into that. Or if we decide, we can also use the design mode. So we could go ahead, let's say, get a button from a palette here. And you notice as we move, Android Studio helps us try to figure out where to center or how to center our objects we put on the screen here, right? And as you can see here, it's green. That means we're at the center. And at the top, you can see say center horizontal, center vertical. So if you drop it there, I just close that. Android usually gives you those errors here. We'll fix that. We have a button here. Let's zoom in a little bit here and let's make everything else a little bit smaller here. Alright, so you have our button there. And you look at here, it tells us it was added a new button here, which is this one here. And if we want to change things on that button, we can go ahead and look at the properties here. We can go ahead and change the background color. So click here and go to System Color. And we can change to this color here, and as you can see, it went and changed everything. Wonderful. So make sure also to notice it's very contextual, meaning that if I click on the button, everything here that shows pertains to that button. If I click outside of it, now it pertains to the background, which in this case is this root element, which is relative layout. And we'll talk about relative layout at some other time. Okay, and we can go ahead and add, let's say, text. We can go and line it and put it there and click out of that. Some errors. If you get that error, just click out of it. If not, then you're good. Alright, so we put our text there, and of course if we click on that text view, you see here, it tells you that text view has been added. And of course, since we're clicked on that text view, all the properties here are for this text view here. So we can go and change the background to, let's go color, and let's change this to this one here. And you will see the background will change over there too. Okay, so you can go ahead and put as many things as you want, and you see things being added as you add them. Now, if you go back to the text, you see in the background the XML, as we add things using our design view here in the background, things are also being added as an XML. And the good thing, we can also go here and add ourselves by coding. So we can say open angular bracket there and say, let's say button. And the beauty of Android Studio, it also gives you hints of things that you're gonna type. In this case, as we start typing B, it goes and finds the button because it thinks, well, you think you want to also add a button. Instead of us having to type everything, if you just go enter, and it populates everything for you. Is that amazing? And inside here, Android layout width, we put the width. And we can say, let's say we want our width of the button to be 120 dp, which is just pixels. and we'll talk more about that too. And this, we want the height to be 35 dp. Let's save that. And if we go back to design, guess what? There's a button there. Well, just here at the top because we didn't specify anything to it, right? And again, we can work, switching between design and text. If we decide, well, this is okay, I want to go back to design, it's okay. You can go and click that, and again, you will see that button was added here, and we can go and add certain properties, such as we can add text. So here we can say hello button, right? And we'll see it changed here. See hello button here. Now, as you can see, the text is too long because we set here the button's height to be 120 dp, and you notice everywhere else we have different configurations, wrap content, which means you'll have a very flexible width with the wrapped content. So if you put wrapped content here and also wrap content there and save, we go back to design, you'll see that everything is great now. Hello button, everything is looking good. The text fits. You notice also that it ended up adding a lot of other stuff that we didn't add before. Well, that was because, again, as you change things onto the design, in the background, the XML is being added. Wonderful. Alright, so you were able to take a look at how to add a few buttons, a text view, and all of that into our screen. And look at the property and look at the component tree as things are being added. And so good job, congratulations. I'll see you in the next video.